Alright, so for those of you that don't know, this is MarkyMoo, and he's got a condition called twisted tibia where his leg bones are actually twisted. So he's disabled and he lives inside, so he's not as good at caring for himself. And one thing that's been a big problem is that he walks pretty much on his elbow, knee, whatever you want to call it. And that could get infected. That'd be the most important thing that we have to keep an eye on as far as his condition. So what I've come up with is moleskin material that I can make like a little cup for him. Of course, he's feather-footed, feather-legged, so it makes it a lot more complicated. If his legs were clean, it would definitely be easier. But I thought this might help some other people as well. So I just like hold him here. And he's a pretty good boy because, of course, he's indoors, so he's pretty used to me. But I cut a square, got this roll. It wasn't very expensive, and this is going to last me a very long time, which is nice, and we'll put the link on it. I cut it into a square to start. Then I cut it into several different pieces that I'll use. So I cut like 2 strips off of that. And these are going to basically form like little straps to keep it on. And then I make a tiny square out of it. And then I kind of round off the edges. And this is going to form the base of the pad that I'm going to put over that. Kind of form a cup. And then a smaller one. It's going to go in the middle, and I'll show you what I mean by that. Okay, and this has a nice adhesive back on it, but it's still breathable, so it doesn't tear the skin. It doesn't suffocate the skin like a lot of band-aids would. So this can actually stay on for quite some time. Sorry about my phone. Okay, so here you can see, so I just put this part so non-sticky right over the thinnest part of his tissue here, because you can see this is like right on bone. It's very, very thin tissue. And then I just take it, this is all still sticky all the way around it. And I'm going to take this, and again, because he has so many feathers, it's a little more complicated. But I try to stick it to as much tissue as possible. And of course, you want to make sure that the tissue is clean and free of any poop or debris in any way. Okay? So just try to get as much adherence as possible there. But if I just left it like that, Hannah, our dog, wants to be a part of this. Hannah, back up, please. Back up. If I just left it like this, it would just rub right off. So I kind of I'm going to make a little bit of a additional circle around. It doesn't have to go all the way around, but it just kind of gives it a little bit more thickness and weight to hold it in place. So that's where the straps are going to come in. So then I'm just going to go around his ankle from here. One way. And like I said, this stuff is really good about not tearing the feathers. It may stick to 1 or 2, but even when I take it off, it's not like a band-aid. It doesn't pull any of the skin. It doesn't cause any tears in the skin, which is important. And then I go around the opposite way too. Come back and connect it. So now it forms kind of a crisscross over the front side to keep it in place. And then I take the last little square here, and just for an extra layer of cushion right on the middle, and to kind of form a nice little cup. And now it's all nice and covered and he can walk on it very comfortably. Good boy. All right. Yeah, such a good boy. All right. We'll walk around. Good boy.
Hi, Marky.
Good job, Marky. Good job. Okay, so here's all the pieces that I got out of that one square. So this is the main piece. I take the backing off of the littler circle that I make and I put it in the middle, just so that that part is not sticking on the most tender area. And then I'll apply that. Then this one I will use to wrap around the little cup that's forming. And then I use these two straps to make a crisscross around the joint to keep it in place. And then I just finish it with this small square to give it additional cushioning. So I think that, you know, this would be very useful for a lot of things. Obviously it's actually made for humans, but so you could use it on yourself. But for chickens, anytime that they have a wound that you want to keep clean, because obviously that's the most important thing when you have wounds, is not getting infections. It does stick. Like I said, it'll stay for several days. I only replace it when it starts to kind of come off or if it gets really dirty on the outside. So hope this helps.